All right, welcome to the Reeve Unfiltered podcast. I want to thank everyone for tuning in once again. This is a reaction to the George Springer 6-year, $150 million deal that he just signed about, 9 minutes ago. A three-time All-Star outfielder George Springer and the Toronto Blue Jays have come to an agreement on a deal, ESPN. So basically, I just want to go ahead and go over a couple things within George Springer. He's so different. Like, he's just a different baseball player like other guys. He's not like he reminds me of Kawhi Leonard. He's so mature and he does his own thing. He doesn't have, he doesn't have Twitter. He doesn't have an Instagram. He doesn't do social media. I think this is just the best move for George Springer going forward within his future. 6 years, $150 million. Houston could not have offered him that. That there is no salary cap in baseball, but being such, due to the pandemic, you really can't. It was really hard for certain teams to sign certain players, and Toronto doesn't have a big contract on their plate like Houston has Verlander and Greinke and Altuve, and they had to pay Bregman, and they're going to have to pay Correa and McCullers soon. So it just didn't make sense bringing back Springer, although it would have been nice, but Springer's due for a payday, World Series champion. And I get all the sign stealing scandal, but I'll get to that here in a second. Go over some moments of George Springer that I had personally. My favorite homers, whenever he autographed my jersey personally, that story. My World Series story, drafted by Houston, now him in Toronto. And who will lead off for Houston next on the Reeve Unfiltered podcast?
Here's a 2-1. High fly ball to left center. Back at the wall. It is gone.
So now my favorite moment from George Springer, I have several, but this one was really personal to me. It was 2 days before my birthday, and he was doing a rehab assignment in Corpus Christi. So I had head up that day for the game, and George Springer was doing a rehab assignment, so he was playing, and I showed up really early. I was outside the gate with a big old water jug because it was really hot that day, and I was just sitting there. I was with my stuff. I had my jersey ready to get signed. I had these magazines of whenever they won the World Series ready to be signed. And I see him walk to the batting cages. And I'm outside the complex because there's a gate, and the way they do it in these minor league stadiums is the batting cages are in the back. So I was waiting for George to come out. He comes out. He comes out with his bat and his gloves and a water bottle. And I'm like, George, come here, please. Come here. Come sign my magazine and my jersey. He's like, hold on. I'll do it when I'm done. Okay, so I wait. 30, 45 minutes go by. He still hasn't come out. So he's hitting still. So when he goes back, I say, George, come on. Please sign. He goes, inside. I got you inside. I'm like, dang it. This guy's not going to sign my freaking jersey. He ends up signing it. I get in the perfect spot right when the gates open. I go down to the bottom. And he's there throwing, he's there warming up with the hooks. And as he gets to the very end of the line of the signings, he remembered me and he signed my jersey. That was just a special moment from George Springer that I had remembered. It was a rehab assignment. So, what makes you think that you're going to get to go see George Springer and get his autograph so close? It was a really great moment that I never going to forget from that World Series MVP.
For the Astros now down 1. High fly ball, goodbye. One pitch to Springer, and we're tied again.
Another great moment from George Springer that I personally remember will be all his World Series home runs that he hit in 2017. Those will always have a special place in my heart. Watching my team win the World Series was a memorable moment, and I will never forget that. Okay, so basically it was the game score went 4-0, 4-1. And then Gurriel tied it at 4-4. Cody Bellinger made it 7-4. Altuve made it 7-7 in Game 5. And then they had hit a ground ball into center field. Springer had dove for it, and he missed it, and a run scored because I believe it was Andre Ethier. Or no, it was Justin Turner who hit that. So the next at bat, George Springer was due. He was due up. And Brandon Marr was pitching. It was a 7-8 game, and LA was leading in the 7th. George Springer hit a bomb over the train tracks into left field, and it was just one of the best homers that I've ever seen, and one moment that I will never forget. So that was a homer that really was my favorite. Another one was whenever it was Game 2 of the World Series, and Springer hit a home run, and it was just great. In Game 7, he had great home runs. It's just Springer is always going to be a big part of Houston Astros history, bringing the first World Series championship. And me going to watch George Springer at Minute Maid Park for many years in the past it was a great moment. So George Springer will forever be remembered by the city of Houston. And I don't think a lot of people are knocking him for this. I don't think a lot of people are frustrated with him leaving. It's part of the business. There are certain contracts that they can take care of, like the Correa contract and the McCullers contract. They need to get done. But for right now, I think that George Springer leaving, and I think they have a lot of great talent coming up. Yordan Alvarez, who a lot of people think and forget about, the Rookie of the Year in 2019 when the Astros ended up losing to the Nationals in the World Series. They have Kyle Tucker, who's a great prospect. Forrest Whitley's going to eventually come up and ball. So I think the Astros do have a pretty good future, but it's just going to be difficult. George Springer was a big part in that leadoff process. I think there's going to be a little bit of readjustments in that lineup. I do think Altuve is going to bat lead off, and I think it'll just follow as the regular Bregman, Correa. Alvarez is probably going to most likely hit fourth. Kyle Tucker might even hit lead off. Who knows? Miles Straw might get things into gear and hit lead off. But it's just going to be different to see this this Houston Astros team without George Springer, and it'll definitely be a weird situation. Whoever leads off.
Dodgers only have 2 hits.
3-1. High fly ball to left. No hitter gone. Shutout gone. 1-0 Houston.
All right, now lastly, it's just going to be the state of the Toronto Blue Jays, and can they actually build a World Series team around him? And I think they can. If they do end up getting Michael Brantley, like the reports say that they're trying to acquire Brantley in free agency, I could see themselves getting a couple pitchers and maybe actually putting up a postseason team together. It just has to be perfect. So every World Series team always has great pitching. The Nationals had great pitching. The Cubs had great pitching. The Red Sox had great pitching in the past. The Dodgers, they pitched really well. Not necessarily the best pitching from the Dodgers in this 2020 World Series. I just think they played a weaker Rays team and kind of evened things out. But they ended up winning. But the point is, they're going to have to build some pitching around that offense. You have Gurriel, BGO. It's really special what they've got. The young talent that they do have, it's really cool to watch. And I do watching even Vladimir Guerrero Jr. I'm missing so many guys out on that Blue Jays team, but it's just going to be really interesting to see how they try to design a team around Springer in age 31 season. That contract's going to take him to 37, so they could end up winning a World Series. Personally, I picked the Blue Jays to win the World Series in 3 years, but that's just going to be a situation that we'll figure out later.
Out of that top spot in the lineup. Fly ball into right. Back is Puig at the wall. It is gone. Home run number 4. 3-2 to Springer. Shot into left center field. Back at the wall. It's gone. Springer stays hot.
Want to thank everyone for watching today's video. Please like and subscribe and leave a comment of what you would like to see next. Thanks for watching the Reeve Unfiltered podcast.